Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show, featuring Steve and Karen Wilson, owners and innkeepers of the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited today because we are airing live from Asheville, North Carolina, one of our favorite places in the world. After all, it is called Beer City. It's in the Blue Ridge and Smoky Mountains of Western North Carolina. And Nancy and I are very excited to be back. And we spent the weekend with Steve and Karen Wilson, our co hosts of Adventures in Asheville, a monthly podcast we do every first Tuesday. And we got to spend the night at their Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, which we've stayed at so many times over the years. We felt very distant from them during this hurricane that happened last fall, and we're just really glad to be back. Glad to see the city rebuilding for our own eyes, and to stay the night at the inn, which it was just like old times, fun, beer, friendship, dogs. The gardens are starting to have like life to them because spring wants to come here, and so Steve and Karen are here. Karen, I hear you giggling. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good. I hear Steve giggling too. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, pretty good.
It's good to have you guys here, and it's good to be back. And it was so good to be back at the inn. And I know there's still work to be done all over Asheville. You've still doing some stuff around the property as well. But staying. I just want to start there. Staying at the inn, and we drove in at night, everybody, through mountains and made it fine. So that's number one. People, I think there's that thing, even, as we got in the car to drive up, we're like, oh, I wonder about the roads getting there. Well, we
Hmm.
drove in from Atlanta area, actually Peachtree City, and actually we got stuck in traffic for 2 hours in Atlanta. Thank y'all. But after that, we went through the mountains, and unfortunately, it was at night because I wanted to see because it looked beautiful. But we got through fine. So I know Steve and Karen, you guys have been to Florida recently, so the roads from Florida to Asheville are fine, right?
Yeah, basically all the roads into Asheville or out of Asheville are fine. The part of the 40 on the border of North Carolina, Tennessee is where it's still an issue. And there's a detour, so it's not really a problem. And as of last I heard, the 40 is supposed to reopen in that section March 1st, I believe.
Oh, okay. So springtime. That is awesome.
Hmm.
The beauty is that it's still very beautiful in Asheville. It's winter, so the leaves are gone off the trees, but it's coming back. The birds are around. We've been watching woodpeckers. Steve, are there little downy woodpeckers here? I have to go to
I
him for
believe,
woodpeckers.
I believe so. I don't get we have the bigger, I think, pileated ones as well, but there's a downies. You'll find the red-headed woodpecker or the red, what do they call it, red belly?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. The sapsuckers?
Yeah, they call them woodpeckers, but
Hmm.
I can't remember the exact name or the unscientific name of those ones, but those are around.
Oh,
But yeah, there's several different kinds, I believe, around here. We don't see too many in our yard, especially since our pine trees got cut down because they prefer the
yeah.
pine trees. It seems.
Oh, that's what it is. Because we are right now, Nancy and I are in Fairview, just down the road, 15 minutes from the inn. And
Mhm.
I'm excited because my favorite pizza place in the world is here. Seriously. Yeah, yeah. So, not that I need to put any more weight on, but I'm just saying,
What a way to do it.
yeah, listen, it's called Piazza. And they make this incredible. I remember the one time we were here before, and I don't think we stopped eating their pizza because if you left it for the next day, and we make breakfast pizza out of leftover pizza, you fry an egg and put it on top. It's really good. Let the
Mhm.
oat yolk run on it, but their pizza dough turns into like a sourdough, and it's really good with beer. It's
Yum. Yep.
Okay, I
Sounds
know,
good.
it's really good, and, yeah, so there's there it's good to be back and to be surrounded by trees, you know, and
Hmm.
see all these birds and, because that's the other thing, I was worried about. I mean, okay, restaurants, they're open, there's a few closures, but the local joint here in Fairview is open. In fact, during the hurricane, they opened up and they were giving out free meals to people during the hurricane.
Yeah.
And they do they've got good sandwiches, and if you want a really good Reuben, go there. I don't know, man. What's going on with this food thing in me? I don't know. It's dangerous. It's
There's a
dangerous.
lot of good food around here. You can't, it's irresistible.
Where were we the other day, when we were in Woodfin? What was that brewery that we were at?
Salt
Salt
face
and
mule.
mule.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. We had a hamburger with Brussels sprouts on it, and I thought Nancy was gonna kill me for ordering it, and she ate the Brussels sprouts, and they were good, and it was delicious, and we got to have Ginger's Revenge beer, which was
Hmm.
exciting because they were serving it
Hmm.
there. But that's what's interesting. They're a brewery, but they're also serving local breweries, beer, which is nice to see.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you want
Yeah.
to cater to all the
There's-
people that don't like drinking beer too. So Ginger's is always a good choice.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I we didn't complain. It was good. It was very refreshing, and Nancy loved it. And Steve, are you getting back to brewing beer?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to try to keg up that stout today. Hopefully it came out okay because, like I said, a lot of my equipment I can't find since the hurricane. Everything was just kind of thrown together. So it seemed to smell okay. I just got to taste test it, and then I'll put it in the keg and put it inside the cooler, and we'll be able to tap some of that.
Awesome. And for those who don't know, if you go to lion-rose.com, that's the website for Steve and Karen's beautiful Victorian mansion. It is. It's a Victorian inn. It's
Hmm.
what's the date on it, Karen, that it was built? It's like
1898.
yeah, I mean, so,
Yeah.
you guys had a little damage and, having to deal with all of that crud that comes with it, which totally sucks. You've got to
Yeah.
understand everyone that's been going through these hurricanes, the LA fires, it's traumatic to go through.
Yeah.
But it's the after stuff that really sucks
Hmm.
for people.
Hmm.
So I'm going to say, please come to Asheville. It is beautiful. The birds are out. The food is good. Steve is pouring beer again. So when you check in at the Lion and the Rose, you get a beer. And if you're there on a Sunday, you get beer mimosas with pancakes in the morning.
Hmm.
Very fun experience. And because you're in Beer City, USA, a lot of the breweries are open, but please come, but also have a little bit of patience because the city is still cleaning up. I know people, we tend to, our brains have that negative thing that happens and we tend to rubberneck. It's just the curiosity of all of us, right? There's that, what we want to
Mm.
see what happened. So yes, there is devastation. And some of the buildings we saw in the River Arts District is mind blowing. Like a hurricane did that, it
Yeah.
almost looks like an earthquake in some, but the flip side of it is the Riverside Arts District, they put some of the art back up. Some of
Hmm.
that, what was that big wheel that's down by the riverside, the riverfront where you
Right.
can walk?
The gear. Yeah.
Hmm.
The gear of
Yeah,
River Oaks. Hmm.
they put that back up. There's murals everywhere. There's new, fresh murals. And people were running and walking along the riverside and taking their dogs out. It just seems like I mean, I think that if you didn't know, you wouldn't know, like, when you came, even though there's staging areas, the World Kitchen is still there in the downtown, so it's still a need, but for a visitor, Steve, wouldn't you say this is pretty you wouldn't really it's not gonna ruin your vacation, right,
No,
Steve?
no,
Wouldn't
no.
you say?
I mean,
Not
most
at
Not
all.
of the stuff. Like I said, downtown is pretty much all open. It's you wouldn't even know anything happened downtown, honestly. But like River Arts, some parts of the River Arts are still open. Some of the ones that were on higher ground are okay. This time of year, there's still some closures on the Parkway, but this time of year they normally have it closed anyways because of icy conditions and they're doing maintenance. So you wouldn't really be missing that so much until hopefully they'll have some more stuff open by spring or by May or something. Hopefully, anyways.
mm,
But yeah, for the most part, yeah, you can come out here and you can still get to Gatlinburg. I mean, you got to go roundabout and all that. Um, but yeah,
mm. Yeah, and the
come.
Pisgah National Forest is still open,
Sure.
right, Karen? So you can go see your
Right.
waterfalls. You can't
Yeah.
take the waterfalls away from Karen. She'll not be a
No,
happy innkeeper.
I need my waterfall time. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's great, like Looking Glass Falls, which that's one of the easiest, especially in a winter setting, right, Karen, for people to
Yeah.
get to is Looking Glass. Um,
Hmm.
it's really easy to get to. It's gorgeous, any time of year, and sometimes it's snowy and icy in there. Like that's pretty too,
It
seeing
is
the ice.
pretty.
But Steve, you don't jump in that water, do you? Because I know you jump in at waterfalls, but is that do you
Not
do
this
the
time of
polar
year.
plunge? No, he doesn't. Yeah, he
I'll
doesn't
wait
want
for the
to
ice to melt out
experience.
first.
Yeah, most men I know don't want to experience that. I'm just saying. No shrinkage here. Just saying.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
saying.
not a polar bear.
No, no, that's a thing. But yeah, so waterfalls, nature is still, the parks are open from what we could see as we were driving around. So yes, some
Right.
changes. But downtown was busy. People were
Yeah.
out. It was sunny.
Hmm.
I think the
Hmm.
fact that you have all these murals and all these historic buildings, it just gives this warmth even in the winter. There's a
Right.
warmth and a vibrancy that comes with public art, that comes with, I don't know, it's just it's freedom of expression.
Hmm.
It's yeah. So that I think the downtown, Karen, do you want to tell people what they can experience downtown? Because it was hopping. People and we were there on what, Super Bowl Sunday. So I didn't
Uh-huh.
expect to see anybody, but it was happening.
Yeah, we had Billy Strings was in town, so there was a big concert, so that was a big draw of why, there were a lot of people wandering around. It was good to see things looking normal, looking alive, but like Steve mentioned, from the beginning, downtown was had very minimal damage, so they were the first to really come back once it was all about the when we didn't have the potable water.
Mm,
Um, so things have come back nicely. Like this coming week, we have another restaurant week, where a bunch of restaurants are participating in doing special menus and different specials. It's just a great way to get people out trying different dishes and different places to go. So it's fun for locals and visitors.
Well, that's the cool thing. And Asheville, I mean, because of the beer scene, you've got a good food scene, and vice
Hmm.
versa. So it's got, and you've got a wine place. I was going through the photos as we were doing, we did like, it was like a drive-through Asheville thing, Steve took us everywhere and he kept having to go round and round and round. And I'm like, are these photos even going to come out? Like, this is going to be fun. But there was a place called the Wine House. And I'm like, oh, it's like a house of wine.
Hmm.
Ooh, that looks like a place to go and visit. Is that a wine bar or a wine shop
Yeah,
or
there's a
ooh,
few wine bars downtown.
mm.
That is one
And
of them. Yeah.
and
Hmm.
record stores, right? Record stores, that's
Yep.
something new.
Hmm.
And where's the place with the champagne? Speaking of wine, because we still haven't done that.
Oh yeah, the Battery Park Book Exchange and Champagne Bar is in Grove Arcade.
Oh, okay. Grove Arcade. So like
Hmm.
that's the pinball place and everything. Ooh,
Yep,
ooh.
the Grove Arcade also has Wake Foot Sanctuary and some of the other places we've had, some of our partners we've had on.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we've got a nice video, everyone, up on Big Blend Mags on YouTube and on Facebook and up on Blend Radio and TV.com. If you go to the site there, you'll be able to re-listen to this if you want. It's there and also a video. And you know, taking those photos was interesting to put together, but to see like the Grove Arcade area, to see, the Funkatorium. That I want to go in the Funkatorium. Like, that's a brewery too? And there's dispensaries downtown. I don't remember marijuana dispensaries being. Is it legal here
Mm.
to for people to imbibe? I mean, I'm just trying to hit all the points here for people. So, do
North
people get to be
North
happy?
Carolina is not legal. It's not legal yet.
Oh, it's not?
No.
So, but you got a
Mhm.
dispensary. This
Well,
is
they've gotten around with
interesting.
some technicalities by messing with the molecules or something with extracting different portions of THC, which in a lot of cases is pretty much the same thing, but it's just like a technicality. So they're popping up everywhere. I think they're anticipating it becoming legal. But yeah, there's several of them downtown now. There's some of them are
Yeah.
it's huge.
Oh, wow. So
They got
Asheville's
like
got
the CBD drinks, I think, and that too. So it's different things, I believe.
did I see something
But yeah.
about weed brewery or something? Weed
Oh,
beer?
Wicked Weed. Yeah,
Weed.
Wicked Weed Brewing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We've got so many people in that video from the podcast as well. We've been doing all the art and we know who's open and everybody's, in the video is open, like Wakefoot, and then we've got like actual
Hmm.
wellness tours. I know the guided mural tours are coming back in spring, so you may want
Right.
to check that out. We've got the massage people, Asheville Massage and Spa, they're there.
Mhm.
And you work
Yep.
with them,
Mhm.
right? For people to come
Right.
and do massage at the inn.
We
Um,
do.
y yeah, rooftop, bars, bar tours, they're back and
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
The gray is it the Gray Line,
Yes.
coach the Gray Line
It,
trolleys?
yep. The
Mhm.
Gray Line
Doing weekends
trolley.
right now, right?
Say that again, Steve?
I think Gray Line's only doing weekends right now. I'm not
Yes.
sure when they're
That's
going full time.
Yes. They do
that's a
weekends, and the schedule changes in March, I believe, and that's when the River Arts trolley begins again, where every second Saturday they offer a free trolley between downtown and the River Arts, which is great for anybody to hop around and see the arts districts. And they'll take you to the places that are open, because it's the upper red that's open right now.
mm.
Mhm.
I think going on these trolley tours like La Zoom, which is a comedy tour, and like Asheville wellness tours, people like that. There's hiking companies. There's all kind of photography companies that'll
Mhm.
take you out
Mm-hmm.
to do really good photography. They've been on our shows, wine tours, winery tours. Yeah, yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Brewery tours. So everyone is starting to open up, and I encourage people to go through the archive of our podcasts. We air every first Tuesday with a new episode, but go through all these people that have been on the show and follow up with them. Those who do tours are going to know what's open, and
Right.
you're really supporting the locals.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely there's nonprofits you can donate to, which is fabulous. There's a lot of ones doing housing. There's churches building houses. Our friend Joe Clark, she's a travel writer and photographer, and she has a podcast with us. And you've been on shows with her before, you guys.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
her cousins came down and built a tiny house for the people that were building houses for locals who had lost their house, and they
That's
hadn't had a house.
awesome.
They don't have a house. So they came
Oh
down with
my.
their church and built a house for them. I mean, there's just so many ways, but one way that
Right.
you really can help a community is to go show support, because just people coming in makes people like, okay, we're back. We're back in business. When people come
Right.
into town, your money that goes in for restaurants, lodging, the art, all of that goes directly to the people in the
Right.
community, and they share it with the people in the community. So your dollar stretches all around, and that directly helps the rebuilding, which it's still needed. You guys are going to have
Mm-hmm.
a battle up. It's a long battle of recovery, but like I was saying, coming back, Nancy and I, was just so good to be it's so good to be back.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous, beautiful. You can see the Smoky Mountain effect is going on. Like, we're waking up in the morning and watching the smoke all over. It's not smoke, but you know what I mean. Go over. It's not from the dispensaries, y'all. I'm just saying, but but it's beautiful because it changes every few minutes. The weather here just
Mm-hmm.
is it's amazing. But the water, you were talking about water, Karen. I also want to
Yes.
let people know Nancy and I have not gotten our actually my hair is getting back to normal. My hair naturally went dark and now it's going blonde again. So I don't know why, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
we've been drinking the tap water, the faucet water, however you call it. And we are
Mm-hmm.
fine. We haven't got green hair. We haven't, my hair hasn't curled up and frizzed and gone weird. Well, it's always weird, but it didn't get weirder. Our legs are still intact, and we're all intact, kind of. So
Mm-hmm.
as intact as Nancy and I can ever be, even though she does her annual fall down, but
As long as she
we just
stays
laugh.
vertical.
We keep her vertical, and then we give her wine and go stay vertical. And I think the only way to keep her vertical is to give her wine and dogs and cats. That's
You could put
she.
her in one of those dollies like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, oh,
Oh
nice.
boy.
Oh my gosh, I know, but
Run
she
around.
wanted to be here, but, she's hanging out with the little dog right now, and that's the other thing. So, Asheville is pet friendly, right, Karen? Isn't that something we should
Yes.
let people know? Very pet friendly
Mm-hmm.
city, and still
Very.
is.
Yeah, definitely. There's water bowls outside a lot of the shops downtown. Most of the breweries are dog friendly. There's plenty of restaurants that are as well, especially if they have a patio. And we do like pet
Mm,
friendly weeks is what we do. So we do it once in a while just to allow people to bring their fur babies with them too.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Now, Montford is a historic district where the bed and breakfast is, Lion in the Rose. Everyone, lion-rose.com. Just got to plug that. Um, that looks pretty good driving around. I can see that a lot of trees have been, I was going to say a lot of trees have been neutered. I don't know why that came out of my mouth, but it,
You're
it
thinking
kind of
dogs.
happened. I don't think any dog wants to hang out with me now, but but so everybody got a trim, basically, Steve, isn't that? But it still looks beautiful, right? The neighborhood fared okay compared
Yeah.
to what it's. I mean, it's still a hurricane. People still have damage, but Steve, I know that you do a lot of that side of it. How would you say for Montford, because it's what 600 historic homes in your neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, some
Hmm.
of the, if you go back on some of the back streets, I'm sure you'll still find some trees that are laying in the yards. I know we've got trees in our yard for that matter. I mean, I've been trying to get out a little bit at a time in between the other stuff I have to do, but they've been doing a pretty good job cleaning things up. There's been some big trucks that have come through and pulled a lot of the debris, but some of these trees were just massive, and it's
Yeah.
going to take a little more than just getting something to lift them into a truck. I think they're going to be cut down into smaller pieces or something. I'm not sure what their plan is, but yeah, compared to when the first couple days when we walked through different parts of the neighborhood, they've done a great job.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
crazy. Crazy.
when you
Yeah.
when you think this was the very end of September, and you guys were flooding while we were on a podcast, and Helene was hitting us in Florida. It was so crazy. And then next day, you guys were like offline, and it was like, what the heck, man? This is crazy.
Mm,
It was
yeah.
crazy, really crazy when you think about it. But yeah, no electricity, no water, no cell coverage. You guys were walking down to the visitor center down the street to get cell, because that's where the cell
Hmm.
tower or Wi-Fi was. And I know people were contacting you, and like, guests were like worried, and all
Yeah.
of and so it's good to see guests coming back too,
Yes.
which is nice, and like I said, the more of that, the better. But Montford is beautiful. They've got an amazing cemetery to go check out, like O. Henry, the writer, and Thomas Wolfe, the writer. Both of them
Hmm.
are laid to
Hmm.
rest there. I don't know what they thought about the hurricane. They probably said, "Hey, I got to wake up and do another story." I don't know, but they're there. So that's good. So breweries are open. The River Arts District is semi-open. You can drive around. You can
Yeah.
see the water, the French Broad River. There's still walking paths and places to walk your dog or yourself.
Right.
Pisgah National Forest is open. There's still galleries. The Biltmore. Oh, I can't leave out the mention. Ooh, the mansion is open, and we've got a
Yes.
great photo of Steve running Ozzy, the little little dog Ozzy, down through the through the mansion. Steve, you're gonna get kicked out of Biltmore through the in the gardens, but I'm sorry, I love that picture. I was like, "Run, Steve, run!" But the Biltmore, I think that's a bucket list for everyone. And
Yes.
have you been out there since the hurricane, Karen?
Yeah, we went right before Christmas and
Yeah.
everything was in very good shape. I mean, you could see some trees down further back in the forest, but we were surprised at how well the roads were. You really, same thing, you wouldn't really know. You really would have no idea that it really had that much water.
Hmm.
Wow, and the village itself, because that's another shopping district and restaurants and everything. How's the village, the Biltmore Village?
Some things are open, and from everything we've been told, the rest is they're all planning for about April to be open.
Okay, so it takes time. So yeah,
Yes.
this is the thing about staying at a bed and breakfast. Call them, and they will let you know what's open, what you can see, and help you. A bed and breakfast know all the gossip in town. That's the truth. They know the hiking trails. So if when you book lodging, like the OTAs, as we say in the industry, but things like the Expedias and the Booking.coms and everything, that's great. People like their points and everything. However, when you
Mm,
book directly, it really helps you actually sometimes can get a better deal. And if you need to make any changes, like add additional guests coming to your party, with you on your travels, you can. If you need to change a room, that's going to be much easier. But
Right.
you also have a friendly voice at the end of the phone or the end of an email that will actually help you plan your trip. Steve, I mean, we've been there when you're answering the phone,
Hmm.
and I'm going, you've just planned their entire vacation. Like, does that happen a lot when people call you?
Sometimes, I mean, a lot of people, they just, I don't know, they just prefer to talk to somebody on the phone about things out here, and it's easier for them to talk to us and get the real scoop rather than just going out to the internet and hoping to find the truth out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
work
there's
because who's open, who's closed, and that's why I also
Right.
say the tour
mhm,
companies, everyone doing guided tours, those are the people you want because it's going to save you time trying to figure it out. Because if someone's closed, you're going to say, "Oh, they're closed," but they may be opening the next day. You don't know, but the tour companies know, right, Karen?
right.
With that, with
Yes,
right now,
absolutely. Most of
yeah,
us are all small businesses, so we all talk, we all keep in touch, and we work together really well. And that's part of the reason I'd say that Asheville has come back and made the progress as fast as they have because we this community worked together really well.
yeah. I think that is the truth, and um, you also have all the spas, that
Mhm.
take that stress out, especially from all the work. I know Steve probably wants a spa treatment by now with everything on the
Someday.
property.
Coming
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, well, hey,
They will
Wakefoot
be.
Sanctuary, that's gonna be a thing, Karen. That's a thing for you guys as innkeepers, right? Go get your
Yeah.
feet done. Oh, yeah, we need to go
Hmm.
see them. We do. We need to go see them. The other thing is the North Carolina Arboretum, which is one of our favorite places. We've been there twice now, I think. Yeah, yeah, twice, actually over 3 times maybe, and they
Okay.
always have public art on display, wonderful hiking trails. They have the largest depository, I hope I said that word right, of, azaleas. So every state has its own, uh, hybrid of azalea, and they have all
Hmm.
of them. I don't know how that part is right now, but they worked so hard to come back because they know not just for visitors coming in to Asheville, this is the place where a lot of people that live here go and hike every day, do their
Yeah.
walk with their dogs. They have events. The gardens are gorgeous. They have a statue of Olmsted there, who is the father of landscape architecture, and he worked with the Vanderbilts. And so
Hmm.
this was his space. So he's like the Frank Lloyd Wright of landscape. Because he works with nature and he designed many parks. He was influential in, well, there's a whole story on Central Park in New York City, and if I'm gonna say it wrong, so I'm not gonna say any more on that, but there's a story there. But he did so much, and I didn't know about him until we went to the Arboretum, and then I just became a huge fan of what he did because he wanted parks to work 100% with nature. Yes, you have your trails and everything, but, you have to go work with nature just like Frank Lloyd Wright did with his architecture, and that's the Arboretum was a is a perfect example of that, wouldn't you say, Karen? When you go there, it's,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's it's kinda like, here's your landscaped, here's your la-di-da gardens, because they do have nice it's like a botanical garden and art and a shop and everything, and a restaurant that serves wine. That's important, and beer. Um,
Mhm.
but and then all of a sudden, all these trails, so you kinda go from this manicure to into the wilderness,
Right.
when you're there,
Mhm.
which I think is cool. So,
Mhm.
I know they worked, and you guys, you went with your friend Jay Schultz, who's been on the show. He is
Yeah.
a, amazing drone photographer, and he did a cool drone thing during the winter lights, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was very cool.
Mm. So
Different
they're
perspective.
back. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you wanna tell everybody what Jay's up to for
Sure.
tomorrow?
Um,
Yeah.
so he's actually been working on a really fun project called Rekindle the Love, and it's going to premiere tomorrow on Valentine's Day at noon. And it's going to be, I don't want to give it away what it really is, but it's just a short little video with a bunch of local businesses and some local celebrities, just kind of showing people and where we're at and where things are today. And about rekindle the love, and come back to Asheville. We're all waiting to welcome you back.
And everyone, we have that link on our blendradioandtv.com site. Just type in Love is Alive in Asheville, which comes from a beautiful mural that's downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we have a link to his website, which is sidebysidedrone.com. And it's cool because he took his drone through a heart and then
Mm-hmm.
into the business. Like he went into your inn. I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything like this. So, like I was going,
Mm-hmm.
like, remember those real estate,
Right.
360-degree things that were just kinda like, "All right, by the time you spin around, you're like Linda Blair in The Exorcist." But this it was so cool to see your inn. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
drone goes behind the door, and, I mean, if you wanna really see, I mean, you can see how well they clean at the inn, that's all I'm gonna say, like, honestly. You can see, I mean, yeah, 'cause it goes behind, it goes looky. It's like being in a miniature airplane in your
Yeah.
inn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
That was that was cool. So
You
he's
you
done
will love
that.
that video. You will love the video. We still didn't see the whole thing. We saw our little
Oh,
portion of it, and I can't wait to see the rest.
Yep,
yeah, he's
should be good.
probably sitting there editing away feverishly right now to get the stuff for Valentine's Day. But everyone, again, side by side drone.com. And I want to thank Jay because he came on shows. He went up on mountaintops to get cell service to call in, but also shared some of his drone photography. And he did this, and this is what I think is so great about his work is it's like, Olmsted, where working with nature, he would show like, okay, here's the destruction part, here's the rebuilding,
Mhm.
and here's the beauty of Asheville. When he
Right.
did this with his drone work during the immediate rebuilding, I thought that was pretty cool instead of just like, oh, we're destroyed. He had
Right.
this positive, let's work together. And every time he came on the show during our Hurricane Helene benefit shows, I mean, we did that, what, every week?
Yes.
Right after the hurricane, we did that event where musicians called in and, it was fantastic, just to
Mhm.
feel good, to feel like the love is alive, right? But he
Feel
just
normal.
always had this positive outlook on everything, even
Right.
though it was sad, you know?
Right.
Um, and that's what we have to do. So,
Yeah.
love is alive in Asheville, but we as travelers need to give some love back. That's how I feel. We've got to give
Mhm.
Asheville some love. But so lots to
Yeah.
do, everyone. So much happening. One thing I do want to touch on is music seems to be kicking some butt in Asheville. So you're talking about Billy Strings, and then you've got like you were talking about the Cherokee Center. There's all these. It seems like the music scene is growing, and I know you guys, Mr. and Mrs. Wild. Yep, 'cause it's always nature or
Yeah.
music for you two. Um,
Mhm.
it's starting to get really exciting for Asheville with music, right? And coming
It
back.
is. It's definitely come back, and it's continuing to come back. And we're seeing not just music, but more events. A lot of it's going to focus on the arts until they get more situated with some of the art galleries and river arts. So I think this is going to be an exciting new way of seeing things that, some people never thought of before.
Hmm.
I think that's what happens in disasters. It's yes, sad, but there's a rebirth of a region. Number one, the water is fantastic. You've got all new pipes. Who gets new pipes? A whole city
Mhm.
just got clean new pipes, and the water tastes great. I didn't see anything wrong with the water. And I bring that up because I know people feel weird when they hear like, oh, what was going on with the water,
Yeah.
So we've bathed in it. We've been drinking it, often with a side shot of, I'm kidding. But anyway, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's coming back, and I think when spring comes and flowers start to come out, Steve, don't you think that's going to be epic for people to see that part? It's
Oh, sure.
like that's gonna cover up the eyesore parts, the
Yeah.
flowers.
Well, the daffodils
I
already
love
come up.
April. I love
Yeah,
April.
daffodils.
Hmm.
Yeah, they come up in our yard anyways.
Oh, see?
Daffodils, tulips. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, and there's a botanical
Most of them
garden too.
totally them.
Mm. Is the
Mhm.
botanical garden open, do you know?
I believe so.
Okay, so
We
that's
just saw some
cool.
people down there picnicking down by the creek.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's open. I've just looked it up. It's open.
Yeah.
So that's
Hmm.
another thing for folks to do, and in spring. You're gonna wanna do that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yep, they are open. Their visitor center is reopening February 28th, and, yeah, go check that out. Alright, so everyone, there's a lot to do. When does the Blue Ridge Parkway typically reopen? You said May, June, around then?
Before then,
Okay.
usually March, April. It really depends on how our weather goes. The last I heard about the Blue Ridge Parkway, they said when it does reopen, it's going to be about 75% of it is going to be open. So they're really cleaning it up and doing whatever they can as fast as they can. So the majority of the parkway will be accessible, which is awesome.
Hmm.
Everyone, if you go to blueridgeparkway.org, that is a great
Hmm.
place. They say right
Yes.
here, it says Blue Ridge Parkway National Park Service has restored access to over 310 miles of the parkway. So
There you
there's
go.
still no real timeline for some certain things, but this is a website to go to. It'll link you over to the Parks National Park Service, the different communities because it does span other states. Um, Virginia's in there too, and if you're like me,
Yeah.
sometimes you can end up being in Georgia or not. Last time I was going to Georgia and I ended up in Virginia. I don't know what happened. It was like, oopsie. I kept going Roanoke this way, and I'm like, what? Oh, oopsie. So there's interactive maps and everything for you to check out
Yeah.
there, and yeah. So check it out, blueridgeparkway.org. You can watch for that. But again, Pisgah National Forest, there's still areas within Asheville that are just what 15 minutes from the inn, wouldn't you say, that you could get to Pisgah National Forest and go there's waterways in it because it's even close to the
Yeah.
Arboretum out there. There's areas on the French Broad that's connected to the parkway even
Yeah.
and Pisgah.
We we continue to get out there, and see what's open. I mean, most of the hiking trails are open and, cleared and this and that, but yeah, most of our favorite hiking trails are within 15 to 30 minutes away.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on a live stream and I'm glad we made it. We did it. We did it. You
Yeah.
know, well,
Thank
our
you.
history of doing live streams is like we've done it for 17 years, and then for a year we're like, okay, we're doing all this other stuff, and then we were like, oh, we're back, and every time beforehand, I'm like, I take that little breath of like, oh my God, is it going to happen? So you never know, anything could happen, but everyone again, lion-rose.com is a website for Steve and Karen. They also on their website have all kinds of ideas of what you can do, different packages. Oh yeah, before you go,
Mhm.
come on, Karen, tell everybody the packages. And there's a beer package in there, just saying.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of different packages, romance packages, and of course, like it's February, the month of love. Not that it has to be in February, but plenty of romance packages, different packages for activities for our partners, anything from adventurous stuff like zip lining to brewery hopping and learning beer education to food tours. And then our I will say one of our favorites and it's our unique thing because we're the only bed and breakfast that brews our own beer. We offer an in-room tap. So if you stay 4 nights, you get your own mini keg with whatever beer that we have on tap, or if you give us enough time, you request your style and we'll make it.
Oh, wait a minute.
Mm.
Request your style? Oh, Steve.
Yeah. Mhm.
Nancy and I want some dirty Godiva before we leave.
I think that can be done.
Okay, I'm just saying, we don't wanna leave Asheville without that, but we're excited because we'll be coming back to Asheville this spring, and we're gonna have to do a spring live I think we're gonna have to do another live stream, of
Mhm.
spring live stream
Sure.
because that's what we do. The streams start to go, "Hello, we're here," and we just had rain, and I was thinking about all the salamanders. Isn't that Steve? When is salamander season? March, April, May?
Yeah, probably around March you might be able to start finding some of
Yeah.
them in certain areas when it starts warming up just a little bit. The cold don't seem to bother them too much. Although I've never really been up there when there's snow on the ground to go look
Mm.
for them. But they don't. Some of that water is so cold and they move around like it's nothing. So I don't
I
think
just
they
saw
mind that much.
I got an email about, they're trying to put the hellbender, on the endangered species list.
Oh,
Uh,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. to protect them, and everyone. The hellbender is like a big boy. The hellbender,
Mhm.
like where did we see the hellbender? Was that at Chimney Rock or is that at the nature center? That
The
there's a
Nature
Native
hellbender.
Center.
Nature Center is where they have a big hellbender.
Yep,
Yeah,
Nature Center.
are they still closed? I think they're still closed, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, they were in one of the few places still. Yeah, I don't think they have a timeline just yet. And I know recently they've lost a couple of their animals, which has been very sad
oh,
to see.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sad to
Yeah,
hear that. Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot of nature around here, and that nature center takes good care of the animals and
they do.
does a great job. Now I know that they go out and do programs, so it's good stuff. So
Yeah, they're doing the educational and conservation kind of things at other locations right now.
that's all good stuff. Everyone, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank
Everyone,
you.
lion-rose.com. We have new episodes again on bigblendradio.com every first Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Thank you. And come to Asheville. Come have some fun. Take care, everyone. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show. Learn more about the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, which is located in the historic Montford district of Asheville, North Carolina. Go to lion-rose.com. You can keep up with our Big Blend radio shows at bigblendradio.com.